So I almost got my X-T4 to overheat. I was filming my kids' band concert, their fifth grade band concert. They've been in band the whole year, and all the other kids in there, they kind of worked up and learned all these different songs, and their kind of big concert at the end of the year was last week. And originally it was gonna be outside, which that day was 90 something degrees, which would have been pretty brutal. It's already pretty much summer here in California, but they opted to, thankfully, well, I don't even know, maybe it wasn't much better, but they decided to move it to the gymnasium because it was the kind of the peak of the heat around almost like 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. But the gym, I don't know if it was because they had the door open for people to come in or what, or the heat, but it did not feel. I mean, the air conditioner I assume was on because you could hear, I don't know, hear some air coming, but it was super humid inside there. It felt really hot, and I was recording it. I was kind of at the back wall where there were bleachers, right up kind of in a. I was standing on the top bleacher, right up near the roof, and there was an intake there, which maybe was sucking some of the heat towards me, or I don't know if that was the problem. But long story short, it got really hot in there. I think it was 94 outside, something like that. I don't know what the temperature was inside there. Should have been less, but it had like a humid feel. And I'm recording X-T4. I had the 50. I actually am filming this, by the way, on the 50 f2 right now, just for something different viewpoint. I had the 50 f2 and was just kind of holding the camera. I had it on the neck strap kind of down below, but I was kind of holding it down here on my chest level or kind of my stomach level, I should say, with the LCD flipped up. And kind of, I don't know, trying to balance it a little bit, I guess, on the neck strap, even though I have IBIS on. And 4K 30, 100 megabits per second, so not horrendous. And it's supposed to, be able to record 30-minute clips doing that. And I wasn't even trying to do a full 30-minute clip. The whole event was about 30 minutes, but I was trying to stop it here and there as I could, I guess, between some of the songs. But it was kind of tough because they did everything back to back though, so it was a little bit challenging. But and I even I'll get to that. So I'm recording and occasionally stopping it, and I start to the camera's starting to get really hot. I just have the X-T4. I don't have any battery grips or anything like that. And the body's starting to get very hot. Not like very warm, I should say, not really hot. Like you could still touch it, but you could feel it was getting very warm. And I was trying not to. I was holding the grip, like this. I should probably grab the camera. So I'm holding it like this, just holding it like this. The screen's folded out and down. Again, I had it a little bit more down. So I guess I'm kind of holding it like this, but most of the weight's on the strap. And so I'm mostly just holding on the grip area, but kind of, I think, was having my left hand a little bit down here like this, and I could feel, the bottom and the side getting quite hot. And eventually I get the warning, not the like error message, but it's like it's an yellow orange, like thermometer icon, like right on the screen. And it actually pops up a message on the screen saying something about, what did it say? I mean, I was kind of trying to focus on getting the clip, so I wasn't going to read it super carefully, but it was weird because it was like the camera, I think it said it maybe exceeded standard operating temperature, like soft warning kind of deal. And I was like, oh man, that's it's getting warm. Maybe this is a problem. I had the screen folded out, it's probably the best I can do to cool it off, and I tried not to, add too much heat touching it, but it was just getting really warm in there. And I think it was I had stopped it to try to, like, I don't know if that's actually better to stop and then restart a separate clips as far as overheating. I don't know if it's still, because the sensor's always on when the camera's on. I really didn't get a chance to shut the camera off. But I guess in my mind I was thinking that might help. And oddly enough, I was like, maybe I'll swap batteries because maybe the battery's getting hot and I'll take that heat out of the camera. And that was kind of interesting because I opened the door. I ended up having to skip or miss recording a clip or a song. second to last song it turned out to be, because I shut it off. And I think at that point I got the red air. It never actually shut off on me, which was funny. Like I remember seeing the red. I swear I saw the red thermometer icon, but I don't. It never actually like stopped recording and shut down. But I think it had like turned red before I started the next clip. So I shut it off, popped the battery door open, and popped the battery out into my hand. And I'm like, what? And I kind of like touched the battery and pulled it down a little bit and feel it. And the battery's like not even hot. It's maybe slightly warm. And I'm like, what? And like I pull it completely into my hand and kind of grip it around my hand, and the battery is not hot. And I was like, well, shit, that's not the problem. So faster than grabbing the other battery out of my pocket, and I just put, because the battery still was like, 75% or something. Pop it back in and close it, and was able to get started and record the last video. And by the end of that the last song, and by the end of that last song, the yellow thermometer icon was back. But it never shut down on me. It may have shut down on me if I had tried to record the second to last song, and then I would have missed the last one. So maybe it worked out. But it was kind of interesting. I've never run up against heat issues with this camera, or really any of my Fujis, to be fair. Not that I've recorded longer clips with these cameras in the past, but that's kind of weird. I guess what I would say is, if you live in a very hot or humid climate, someone in like, Hawaii or Texas, or the, I don't know, Midwest, I guess, Chicago, East Coast, where a lot of humidity in the summer, you may have problems with this camera. It's weird. I guess when you do longer clips, if you do little short stuff, like maybe a few 5-minute clips or less, just like a couple minutes here and there, you probably would never run into it. But when you're doing like 5 minutes back to back over and over again, or, one of the clips I think was almost 10 minutes back to back over and over again, 4K. This was 30p. It gets hot. I would guess 60p would be worse, because that's even harder on the processor. So, yeah, kind of interesting. I'm filming this on the X-H1. I wonder if this camera would be better or worse. It's a bigger body, so maybe it can help dissipate heat better. I don't know. You read about the rumors with the X-H2, and they claim, they've done stuff with the body for better cooling. Some of it's rumor stuff, with, maybe they could do like a heat pump, or what do they call it, heat piping, like you have on processors for computers, and have that go to some kind of external heat sink that maybe that fan attachment connects to, or who knows. I don't know. Maybe that's what they're going to do. But interesting, huh? I guess it made me start to think about these cameras like the Sony, what is it called? The FX3, or even the GH6, or the S1H, with those, or I guess the Canon R5C, just the cinema cameras basically, that have those built-in fans and heat sinks. Maybe you need those to do a lot of recording in hot environments. Obviously, in my house, and in this room, kept below 80 degrees, in the 70s. It's a non-issue. I've never, like I said, I've never seen these overheat lights before, but out in the field, so to speak, and in humidity and heat. And we don't live in a humid climate, but it was humid in that gym. It takes a toll on the cameras. I guess the lack of a breeze too. Being inside, there was no airflow, like being outside where there's air blowing around and wind. Maybe that was the problem. I don't know. So it was just surprising. I was surprised the camera got as hot as it did, and I was surprised at the 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 warnings. I guess the warning lights. I've never seen those before. So yeah, just wanted to comment about that. Talk to you guys later.